I am here in beautiful Winchester, Virginia at the storied Alamo Draft House, and I am here with Chad Farmer, who is the festival director of Grindsploitation. This is a genre in which I was never entirely familiar with. I usually viewed it as like a distinct subculture of moviegoers that was not the kind of people who would see films like About Time or World War Z or Vice or, just these kinds of films, and that this is just an entirely different category of moviegoing. Do you think that like there's much overlap between whatever is in the box office and whatever goes on at your festival?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, a good example is Quentin Tarantino. If you've seen Kill Bill, all the Kill Bill movies, Jackie Brown, his Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and then you go into like what you said earlier, you go into stuff like World War Z. You could like any zombie movie, anything like that,
absolutely.
Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stuff like that. And if you want to go into extreme violence, you could go into like, or really big action. You could go like into the Raid movies, Redemption, and just stuff like that. I mean, there's definitely a crossover, and what you're going to see here is a lot of independent filmmaking. It's not going to be stuff that's going to be on the first page of Netflix, or it's not. You have to search for it, and you pretty much have to be like just really into that genre of exploitation. You could go back to the 70s, like Switchblade Sisters, Coffee, Shaft, Superfly, all those 70s movies like that. So yeah.
So I think one thing that I've been learning a little bit is sort of, this is kind of, you could look at Guillermo del Toro, you could look at Terry Gilliam, I think even like the Men in Black genre, the Men in Black series, and like the sort of like monsters and fun that these people have in creating kind of grotesque forms kind of make their way into Terry Gilliam and Guillermo del Toro too.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's like, and exactly, like I could see, I viewed a couple things yesterday as very direct descendants to a Kill Bill. So you're saying a lot of those directors probably grew up going to low budget horror fests, or do you think it was more of like?
You could go back to Quentin Tarantino if you really look at him. I mean, if you look at his movies, one of his very big influence of his are like 70s exploitation movies.
Okay, 70s exploitation.
50s
so yeah.
and 60s. There's one called Sword of Doom. That's a really big influence in Kill Bill Part 1, the scene at the end where they're in the big Chinese restaurant and you have like all the henchmen coming at him. You can compare that to the Sword of Doom. It's a black and white samurai movie. So yeah, I mean, definitely, it's a lot of your big time directors today. They're influenced by like a lot of 70s, movies like that. So yeah.
Or I think, yeah. So there was also times where a lot of this stuff was kind of more out there in playing. The first thing on the marquee might have been It Came from Outer Space or something like that,
Yeah. And, I mean,
or The Creature from the Blue Lagoon or whatever.
Yeah, you could go back to the 50s, and that was the stuff that was exploitation then. Like you said, the Creature from the from that, and I mean, you could go back to your werewolf movies, your Dracula movies, and all that, and Nosferatu, and I wasn't alive back in that time, of course you can probably tell, but yeah, I would see that as being exploitation movies back then. Yeah.
When you see and when you kind of curate the festival, how far back in time is this all kind of really current stuff? I noticed a lot of the stuff was copyright 2021, copyright 2020 when you did it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we don't show anything. We try to stay away from. We try to get newer. I mean, the newer the better. We like to do like world premieres, like Bad Girls last night. That was the world premiere of that, and then we had the Australian We're Not Here to Fuck Spiders. That was the international premiere. So yeah, and then I mean anything like 2020, 2021, we try to get the newest thing, and so those are the kind of things that we get.
So, and when it comes to crowd size, when you're coming to how big of a crowd have you turned out in non-COVID years?
I say COVID versus non-COVID. We probably had maybe about 40 people. You could probably double that with non-COVID versus a non-COVID crowd versus a COVID crowd. I'm very happy with the turnout with the way the world has been the past year. So yeah.
Yeah, and this is a louder crowd. I noticed. I mean, they're hooting and hollering quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're going to get that.
I think that's part of the fun, right?
Oh,
as
yeah,
far as
you're
I can
going to
tell.
get that with exploitation movies because they're just. And if you want the definition of exploitation, it's just like take any situation and then just blow it completely out of proportion. And people, the kind of crowds that we have, the kind of people that come see that, that's the kind of stuff that they love, and that's what they want to see, and so they enjoy it, and they hoot, and like you said, they hoot and they holler, and they're excited about it.
Is it almost like they enjoy things that are socially unacceptable? It's like you're just doing like the stuff you're not supposed to show, the stuff you're not supposed to say, the stuff you're not supposed to.
Well, with me, I think I'm not going to say everybody. You're definitely going to have that crowd that wants to go see the movies that you see on this wall. Like most everything you see is prime time and it's the big features, but I guess you could say. The people that come to see what the films that we show, they maybe want something just a little bit more extreme. They like just a little bit more violence than what you would see in, like World War Z or an action movie like your Fast and the Furious. They want it just a little bit more over the top, a little bit more extreme.
All right, well, if we talk too much more, we'll miss the next movie.
Okay,
so that's called the Ninja Badass, right?
Yeah, Badass.
Where's that one come from?
I think
that's a new one.
Yeah, we had it in 2020 at Genre Blast Film Fest, which my friend runs. That he's with me, Nathan, and I think he's from Indiana, so I think that's where that comes from. And this is Grindsploitation Film Festival 2021.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Oren.
We'll put the Facebook page for it in the description.